In the opening scene, we are introduced to our protagonist, Wang Fei, who is battling against a horde of other fighters amidst a downpour. Despite sustaining injuries, he puts up a tough fight, showcasing his exceptional martial arts skill. But sadly, he's eventually outnumbered, causing him to get knocked down. In his subconscious state, he recalls the days from his childhood when he and his father ran an orphanage. One day, they stumbled upon a boy named Fiery, who had passed out due to extreme weakness. They hurriedly brought him to their orphanage home and treated him. During that time, Fei encouraged the unconscious boy to wake up. He also promised to protect him, claiming himself to be invincible. The scene then fast forwards to a few years later, depicting the darkest period of the nation. Rebellions, wars, economic problems, and invasions have led to the rapid decline of the Qing dynasty. Countless lives are lost in the sea because of unsafe work hazards and corrupt capitalism. We then cut to Huangpu Harbor, which is controlled by two big gangs, the Black Tiger and the North Sea. The Black Tiger gang doesn't just control the harbor, they also enjoy their monopoly in large businesses, such as gambling establishments, opium stalls, and brothels. Each of these sectors are overseen by Master Louis's three adopted sons, North Evil, Black Crow, and Old Snake. At this point of time, Master Louis decides to recruit more soldiers, one of whom will become his fourth adopted son. For this, he calls several brave Black Tiger Jr. members who have been serving the gang for more than 5 years. One of them is our hero Fei. They are all presented to Master Louis. While he's interrogating a traitor, the Master mercilessly kills the traitor in front of everybody after he refuses to confess his deeds. This shocks all the boys, but Fei stands strong without any fear on his face, leaving a positive impression on the Master. Following this, the recruitment process begins, and all the warriors are assigned to hold a cup. The Master then pours boiling water into it, causing the warriors to drop the cup due to the heat. However, Fei doesn't react and keeps on holding the cup even if his fingers turn red. Following the trial, Louis assigns the selected warriors with a mission to kill the North Sea gang leader. Anyone who can do so will be chosen as his fourth adopted son. Determined to earn the position, Fei infiltrates the North Sea gang's headquarters the very next day. There, he confidently battles against the guards and subdues them. He then comes face to face with the leader, and a fierce battle ensues between the two. Using his martial art prowess, Fei manages to gain the upper hand and decapitates the enemy with his own sword. Moments later, a horde of North Sea gang members charge towards him, initiating a one versus all battle. This is when our hero gets knocked down, as shown in the first scene. But fortunately, one of his fellow gang members named Big Tooth shows up in the nick of time. He sets off fireworks to distract the enemies and rescues Fei. Once they are back at the Black Tiger headquarters, Master Louis is impressed by Fei's bravery and adopts him as his fourth son. Elsewhere, the son of the leader of the North Sea, Wu Long, is furious after seeing his father's head hanged in the harbor. As a result, he vows to avenge his death by destroying the Black Tiger. Once Fei recovers completely, he's instructed to perform a final ceremony as a fourth adopted son by tattooing his back. Amidst this process, he talks to an elderly tattoo artist who provides him with much intel about the Black Tiger. One of them is about the gang's secret money vault that can only be opened with 2 different keys. These 2 keys are each held by 2 adopted sons with the most profitable businesses. Currently, the keys are held by Black Crow, who controls the gambling business, and Old Snake, who oversees the prostitution business. Fei's first task as an adopted son is to lead his men to invade the North Sea territory. The battle is victorious as the Black Tiger successfully takes over the port. But amidst the commotion, Wu Long somehow manages to escape. Following this achievement, everyone starts to fear and respect Fei. As time passes by, he settles into his role as a mob boss and also has a personal prostitute, Orchid, who happens to be his childhood friend. One evening, Fei joins the rest of the 3 sons for dinner. Everyone cheers him up for his achievement, except for North Evil, who seems to be jealous. He even tries to instigate a fight, but Fei maintains his cool and opts to ignore him. The next day, Louis meets his international business partners, who ask for 300 laborers to work overseas. Despite having limited workers, the Master agrees. After the meeting, he orders his men to lure the workers at the northern port for a hefty fee. Apart from all of this, Fei has constant nightmares about his past. One evening, while conversing with Orchid, he confides his entire history to her, cutting the scene to a flashback. One day, he was playing with his orphanage best friends, Fiery, Little Fa, and Chun. During that, Fa was forcibly kidnapped by a member of the Black Tiger gang to be sold into into a brothel. When Faye's father got to know of this, he immediately set off in search of the trafficker, but when he arrived at the place, he learned that the girl had already been sold. The Black Tiger gang also recognized him, as he had injured one of their men earlier. As a result, they exacted their vengeance by setting the orphanage home on fire. Faye's father did his best to save all the kids, but he had to sacrifice his own life for the same. Infuriated, Faye and Fiery went to the Black Tiger members' residence to seek revenge, but much to their dismay, the person they wanted to kill had already been executed by someone else. In the aftermath, the two friends were taken in by a monk who trained them for many years in martial arts. When they finally returned, they formed a group called the Orphan Gang. They then vowed to avenge the death of Faye's father, as well as all of their parents, who were the victims of the Black Tiger's slavery. Since then, Faye worked on the ways to infiltrate the Black Tiger gang. Orchid pretended to be a prostitute, while Fiery and Chun led the gang of orphans. Here, it's revealed that Faye has joined the Black Tiger's gang to destroy it from within. Now that Faye has gathered the necessary information about the Black Tiger, he and Orchid secretly relay them to the rest of the orphan gang members. After several years of planning, they're finally ready to execute it. One fine day, Fiery, Chun, and their group members ambush Old Snake for one of the vault keys he possesses. They lure him to a secluded place where they torture and kill him. Following this, Chun retrieves the key from his pocket, duplicates it, and places it back. Later that night, they deliver the dead body to the Black Tiger's headquarters with a message: evil will be punished. Louis is devastated by the sight, but he's somewhat relieved that the key is safe at least. He then entrusts the key to North Evil, asking him to keep it safe. In the next scene, Faye meets Fiery under the pretense of fishing and takes the duplicate key for the second phase of their plan. That evening, Faye goes to the gambling house, which is supervised by Black Crow. He constantly gambles and deliberately loses all of the games. Since he doesn't have any money, he asks to borrow 3,000 silver coins from Black Crow, but the latter strictly refuses. As a result, Faye gives him the duplicate key. Black Crow wonders how he got it, to which Faye claims that he took it from North Evil. He then accuses North Evil for trying to duplicate the key even before Master Louis entrusted him with the real one. Black Crow is skeptical, so he leads Faye to the money vault located in a distant part of the city. His suspicion completely vanishes when the duplicate key unlocks the vault. Afterwards, Faye goes to the fishing site and meets with Fiery. He informs him about the location of the vault, and they start planning their next move. The following morning, Chun disguises herself as a laundry woman and enters Faye's place. She is here to relay the message about when their plan will be executed. During the process, Chun happens to see Orchid staying close to Faye, making her feel jealous. Here, we learn that Faye and Chun have liked each other from the very beginning. However, Faye knows that Fiery also likes Chun, so he holds his feelings within himself. The same night, Louis shows Faye his collection of swords. Wu Long somehow gets the information that there are no guards, so he launches an attack on them. Soon after, a fierce battle ensues between the two parties. Faye goes one-on-one with the leader, while Master Louis handles the henchmen. The fight between Faye and Wu Long seems to be intense, as both of them show equal sword prowess. But eventually, Faye manages to gain the upper hand and holds him at sword point. He doesn't want to kill him, but Master Louis kicks the sword from behind, fatally impaling Wu Long's body. Meanwhile, the orphan gang is already starting their riot by setting the opium shops on fire. They also head to the money vault and subdue the guards there. Following this, Chun and some gang members lure out their main target, Black Crow, to a secluded place, while Fiery distracts the henchmen away from their boss. Shortly after, Master Louis notices the fire from a distance, so he immediately orders Faye to check. But instead of heading to the fire site, Faye makes his way to the secluded place where Chun has trapped Black Crow. Wasting no time, they finish him off and make it look like North Evil has killed him, but unfortunately, Fiery is outnumbered by the henchmen, causing him to get captured. Later, when Faye returns to the headquarters, he's shocked to see his best friend being tied and tortured. Louis demands the whereabouts of his comrades, and Fiery reveals that they're robbing the money vault. In a state of panic, the master rushes to the vault location, only to discover that the orphan gang has already broken in and is distributing the treasure to the poor residents. At this point in time, Louis speculates that there is a mole in his gang. On the other hand, Faye has one last conversation with his his best friend. Fiery has accepted his fate as he knows that he must die in order to maintain Faye's cover. Thus, he emphasizes that they must prioritize their mission over his life. After a while, an angry Louis returns and orders Faye to execute Fiery, but before he can do so, the soldiers bring Black Crow's dead body before the Master, leaving him in shock. Additionally, the body has a mark with the same shape as North Evil's cane, inclining the Master's suspicion towards him. To prove his innocence, North Evil puts his sword on Fiery, demanding that he disclose the truth. However, Fiery kills himself with the sword pressed against his neck. This sight makes it look like North Evil's trying to cover up his deeds. Despite the suspicion, Louis walks away without taking any action. As for our hero, he is devastated by the loss of his best friend, and he starts recalling all the past memories they spent together. And Fiery shat himself, living up to his name in the best way. The following morning, Faye cries in Orchid's arms, mourning his loss. She tries to calm him down and encourage him to stay focused on their mission. She also claims to have a plan, but doesn't share it with him yet. That night, North Evil is enjoying his spa when he's approached by Orchid and her colleague. They gain entry by claiming that they have a secret to reveal about Faye. Once in the room, Orchid discloses that Faye is the one who robbed the money vault and killed Black Crow and Old Snake. Furthermore, she reveals that her real name is Fa, who was sold to this brothel when she was very young. With this information, she manages to gain his trust and begins seducing him. Believing that she has distracted him, Fa then tries to stab him with her pointed hairpin, but North Evil isn't tricked that easily. He mercilessly drowns her to death before charging towards her colleague. But at this moment, the latter reveals himself to be Chun. He instantly swings his knife and finishes off North Evil in one go. The next morning, Faye and Chun, along with the entire orphan group, pay their final tribute to Fiery and Orchid's grave. Following this, Faye emphasizes that now is the time for them to make a revolution. They begin distributing leaflets to all the citizens, urging them to join the fight against the Black Tiger. Faye then trains them in martial arts to increase their strength. Amidst this, they also release 300 laborers who are about to be sold overseas. The entire city is now on Faye's side, and together they gather outside the Black Tiger's headquarters. The mass is more than enough to annihilate the Black Tiger, but Faye doesn't want any more bloodshed, so he challenges Louis to a duel, which the latter immediately accepts. Faye then enters the building, and the first thing he does is set the place on fire to burn down the whole headquarters. After this, the duel begins in the middle of the fire. The battle is intense, as both of them are equally formidable. Meanwhile, the fire gets worse, forcing them to continue on the rafters. After a while of fierce duel, Faye manages to gain the upper hand. He strikes Louis with consecutive attacks, knocking him from the rafters. But he also doesn't want to kill his new dad, so he catches his hand in the nick of time. However, Louis refuses his help and allows himself to be engulfed by the flames rather than living a shameful life. With the Black Tiger finally gone, Huangpu Harbor is liberated from the oppression. Now, Faye and his orphan gang are the ones to run the city. The movie ends with Faye inaugurating a new martial arts school, symbolizing his role as the city's protector and the dawn of a new era of peace and prosperity. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.